So I thought I would take you a little bit more behind the scenes of some of my designs. So today I'm giving you a little sneak peek on an upcoming design that I'm working on. And I wanted to show you the sweater that it is inspired by. And this is a really old Banana Republic simple cotton cardigan, and I wear it all the time. And I finally was like, I need to make one of these on my own. This is actually an extra small. I normally don't wear an extra small. I'm about almost like a 37-inch bust, and this fits really oversized. So the extra small actually fits me really well. I am using this as inspiration for a sweater that I'm making, and I wanted to make it, basically, it's like a drop shoulder sweater with, you know, a pretty slanted shoulder line here. And I wanted it to be top down, and I think it's just so nice to make a top down sweater to modify length and try it on. So this sits a little cropped, and I am in the process of using this Knit Picks Comfy Bulky Weight Cotton yarn. I wanted to find yarn that I could use on a little bit bulky needles so it would knit up super quickly. So here's where I am right now with this, and I'm knitting this top down with really steep increases to give the same shoulder line here. So this is the front here, and I just wanted to show you how I'm making these increases to basically, they're super steep to give a sloped shoulder line down here, and the stitches end up coming up kind of straight. So the idea is to continue this. I'm actually going to continue this a little steeper because I won't have as curved of an underarm here. It's going to be pretty straight, and then I will cast on some stitches at the underarm. So I'm going to basically work the length of the increases to be maybe about an inch longer than it is currently on this, so I can go more straight down. So I'm just going to show you how I'm working these steep increases to create this really cool neckline here, and it just makes it a little bit easier to create this in one piece. I am going to pick up stitches for the sleeves, and I'll just show you that the front is pretty straight down here. It does have a few increases so that the front like comes in a tad. I haven't decided if I'm going to make those increases. I might. I think I might, but I think if I do that, I'm gonna do them after you join the body. So we're gonna work everything in one piece until I hit the width of the shoulders that I would like, and then you're gonna work the fronts separately from the back for the armhole depth, and then we'll bring everything together for the body. So I just wanted to take some time to show you how I'm making these increases, because I think it's really pretty and cool. And if you ever interested in designing your own sweater, this might be a technique that you might want to use. Just before I start, I wanted to reference that I started by casting on 2 stitches for the left front, and then my stitch count for the top of the neck, and then 2 stitches for the right front over here, marked by 2 stitch markers to keep track. So to get started, I am going to knit to 1 stitch before the first stitch marker. And once I've worked all the way to 1 stitch before this first stitch marker, so I've worked across the left front, I am going to make one right. So to make one right, you insert your needle in between the bar, in between these 2 stitches here. And when you're making steep increases, it can be hard to see that bar and work into that bar, but you're just gonna have to kind of work with it. And sometimes I push this stitch a little bit forward. So once you've lifted up that bar, you're going to be knitting through the front here. And like I said, sometimes I kind of push up on that stitch to bring it forward a little bit so I can get that knit through that stitch. So you make one right, then you're going to knit one, then you slip that stitch marker, then you knit one, and now we're gonna make one left. And again, it can be really hard to see that bar in between those two stitches because you have such steep increases. It can be hard to work into. So I'm going to insert my left hand needle from front to back and knit through that back loop. So I've made my first set of increases on either side of that first stitch marker. Now I'm going to knit across to one stitch before that second stitch marker. So I'm working across the back right now. Okay, I'm working until I've reached one stitch before that next stitch marker. I just worked across the back. Now I'm going to make one right again, inserting my needle from back to front and knitting through the front. Knit one, slip the stitch marker, knit one, then you're gonna knit one. Now we're gonna make one left. Insert the needle from front to back between the bar, in between those two stitches, and knit through the back. So we've increased another stitch. Now we're simply going to knit to the end across the right front. So I've finished my first row of increases on the right side, increasing one on either side of the two stitch markers. So I've increased 4 stitches, 1 stitch on the left front, 2 stitches on the back, and 1 stitch on the right front. So now we're gonna do 2 more increases on either side of the stitch marker, but we're gonna do this on the wrong side. And again, we need to make steep increases, and in order to make steep increases, we have to also work those increases on the back. I'm gonna purl until I've reached 1 stitch before that first stitch marker. So I'm 1 stitch before that first stitch marker. So now I'm gonna make one right, but we're making one right on the wrong side of our work. So it's a little different. So this time we're gonna insert our left hand needle from front to back and purl through that back loop. And this is a little tricky, but you're gonna bring your needle through that back loop and purl. And then you're going to purl 1, slip that stitch marker, purl 1. Now we're gonna make one left on the wrong side of the work. Now we're gonna insert our needle from back to front and purl through the front. Then you're gonna purl across the back to 1 stitch before that next stitch marker. So I've purled to 1 stitch before the next stitch marker, purling across the back. We're gonna do the same thing now, make one right on the wrong side, which means we're going to insert our needle from front to back, our left hand needle from front to back, and then purl through that back loop. Purl 1, slip the stitch marker, purl 1. Now we're going to make one left, inserting our left hand needle from back to front and purling through the front. And now you just purl to the end. Now we've completed a right side and a wrong side row, making increases, 2 increases on either side of the stitch marker on both the right side and the wrong side of the work to create really steep increases. So we started by casting on a stitch width here, and then each row expands both on the front and the back here. So again, this will become the left front, this is the back, and this is the right front. So if you're interested in seeing what happens with this design and how to make this design, make sure you are subscribed to my newsletter. The link is in the video description, and also make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I always give behind the scenes and what's going on with all of my patterns on there too. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.